Hello everybody, welcome back to Cities Skylines with me, Biffa. Today we are going to be looking at two mods which are absolutely amazing. I think these two mods are another essential addition to the game along with Traffic Manager. They blow my mind, the amount of stuff that you can do with them. We're going to be looking at the Node Controller mod and the Intersection Marking Tool mod as well. And thank you to everybody who's been sending me comments about these two mods. You've seen the videos on YouTube and said, Biffa, you've got to check these out. They are going to blow your mind, and they certainly do. So if you want to go and download these mods from the Steam Workshop, I will put them in the description below. But this one's called the Intersection Marking Tool. We can't quite see the whole name there. And the other one's called a Node Controller. Now you can open these with these activation shortcuts that are listed here, but they're also down here on your bar. This one is Node Controller and this one is the Intersection Marking Tool. So let us start off with the Intersection Marking Tool. To me, that is the most amazing one. Now, in the past, if you wanted to fill in these grey little gaps in the middle here, where the lines don't draw on intersections, you would have to download decals, decals, whatever you want to call them, and place them in. And the more of those that you put in your city, the more your FPS would drop. But now with the Intersection Marking Tool, we can do things that will totally put all these lines in, and the game doesn't look at these items in the same way, and it doesn't affect your FPS at all, which is fantastic. So I just click the tool, click the node, and then we get these little spots like this where we can join up our lines. Now, normally each of these will be where either the edge of the road or a line is, as you can see. And then what do we want to do? Well, let me just, before I start doing this, let me just put a little caveat in here. My profession is not anything to do with roads. I don't build roads, design roads, cities or anything. I've driven for I don't know how many years, so I've been on plenty of roads. But I've never sort of studied roads to know exactly 100% how I should do everything. So for those backseat gamers, road professionals that are out there that are going to be blowing their minds because I've done something ever so slightly wrong, yeah, chill pill. If I do something wrong, I don't mind a nice comment telling me, but don't lose your head. Okay. So as you can see, there we go. I just joined those two up there, and I want, you know, I've got options. I can change that, and I would like to change the width of that. You just hover over here, you can scroll, which is fantastic. So, oh, not the width. Let's go back to what that was. The length. I want that to match the dash length over here. That looks good to me. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then I can copy that. Bing. Has that copied it? I think so, yeah. It doesn't sort of pop up or say anything, but I'm pretty sure I've copied that. And then when I do this one here, because that's going to be the same, I can paste it. Oh, yeah, there we go. It did work. Fan-flipping-tastic. That's good. Okay, so I'm just deleting all the lines that I've put on. I'm using this section over here to delete them, because normally on a UK roundabout, you wouldn't have the lanes coming out like that. Let's just get rid of that car. What you would have is these would be connected. So can we still paste that on there? Yes, we can. They would be connected. So we'll paste that look on there. We know this one's going to go off, so that's fine. We'll put that back in as a double solid line and mess with the offset to that. That's it. Fantastic. So that will be like that. And that would be it. Along here, I mean, on a small roundabout like this, you wouldn't necessarily have a crossing right there, but we do have that. Do you know what? I'm going to remove that crossing. Let's come out of the Intersection Marking Tool. Let's quickly jump into the Node Controller. So, as you can see, you can left click. It's now a yellow circle, and we have our node. And if we click no junction marking, excuse me, that will remove the texture for the crossing there, and I believe that crossing is now gone. You also have this corner smoothness. Now, if you remember, with the Intersection Marking Tool, we put some of these lines in. With a decal or a decal, they would just be there. They would be fixed in the shape that they would be. That would be it. You wouldn't be able to do anything with them. And what we can do, when we use this corner smoothness, we can see it starts messing with the style of the junction. But look at our lines. They are automatically adjusting to fit the shape that we're doing. Aha, which is great. So on a little roundabout like this, I might not mess with the corner smoothness. But as you can see, it's this bit here. It's making that corner just a little bit bigger. So it's less of a T-junction stop and more of a smooth run-in into the corner. So, I mean, we could just sort of put that on maybe, what have we got, 10 or 12, maybe a little bit bigger. Let's put it on 14. Yeah, and we'll do that with the other ones as well. Okay, so that's the node controller mod just at the moment. We'll come back to that one. So back to the intersection marking tool. There we go, nice orange circle. So I'd like to put a line across here, sort of a stop line is what you would expect. Oh yeah, here we go. If we just connect these points together, there we go. It's a solid line, which is what we want. Oh, and of course you don't want this solid line here. It's only for those coming out. You want them to stop. And also, let's just remove that one so we can... There we go. That's that line there. We'll just delete that. We don't want that. And also, that needs to be sort of a double line rather than a single line. So we'll change that to be a double solid line. There we go. For giveaway. And where's the other one? There it is there. Double solid line. Yep, that's more like it. Now, I've just been spending some time on Google to check out the different ways that you can set up a roundabout. And what I do like about this this tool is it's very, very easy to change what you've done. Now, to me, this didn't quite look right. How we've got this junction here. Let's just wait for that lorry to go. There we go. So I'm going to pick this junction here. This lane is always going to go straight off. This lane here on a normal roundabout would always go to this outside lane. So I'm going to connect that up, paste in my little, what I copied before. Now I want to get rid of this line in the middle. So all I've got to do is go like this, find the line. There it is. Delete that one. Excellent. Now that lane is always going out there, which means this lane is always going to go in here. Let's paste that in. Now I want to remove this little line. So we'll just hover over here. It's going to be the top one. There we go. We'll remove that. Now that looks a bit more realistic. So that one always goes off. That one goes round. That one goes round. And then you get an extra lane gets added in here for if you're going to stay on the roundabout again. Aha. So I'm going to do that round on these other ones as well. So that is working really, really well. Now, keep in mind that this is only an intersection marking tool. It doesn't actually affect where the cars will go. So obviously, for those that watch my channel, you know we like using the traffic manager mod. And the way I set up my roundabouts is I will always take the priority signs option and shift, control and click. So that's how we get these one lane going off arrows here, which as you can see, that lorry there will follow. Let's have a look. Here comes another one. He's just going off like that. If you don't set that up, then they won't follow the lines at all. Putting the two mods together, you can do something like this, which is absolutely amazing. I'm absolutely loving that. Now, there are a couple of little things we could add in, although it's not really necessary on this roundabout, but we'll do it anyway. There is a little patch here which doesn't get driven on, because as you can see, any cars on this one go around that way. These cars come down here, and when these come out, they sort of go past. And there's like an almost little weird shaped triangle of space here that doesn't get used. So what we can do, let's just grab the intersection marking tool back again. Control L. Okay, doesn't always work for some reason. Let's grab that. We'll grab this node here. I want to sort of mark off an area here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that. So that's going to put the line in. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the marking, but leave the line there, if that makes any sense. So this little coloured box up here is basically a rule. We've got this add rule. We can add more rules, but this is a rule that's been added. I'm going to click this here. So this one deletes the whole line. This one just deletes the markings, but the line is still there. Look, you see it's invisible if I hover over it, which is what we need because I want to get access to this little space here. Okay, so if we come to fillers and hold Alt, we now get these points. So I want to fill this little point here. So if we go from there to there to there and back round there, we can see it follows the lines. There we go. And now we get a little filler option. And we have some options for this. You can have stripes, you can have grids, you can have solid, or you can have chevron. I think chevron would fit well in there. We can see a line started to be painted in, one of these little chevron lines. It doesn't quite line up. We can invert it. Let's have a look. We can turn it. Actually, that is the way round I would do it. And then we can have a look at the steps, the angles. Let's have a look. Yeah, maybe something like that. But I still want a line now along here, which we didn't have before. And I'm may just add that in. Ooh, autosave, quick sip of tea. So let's go back to our lines again. And can I add a line from there to there? Oh, now there's going to be a way of doing this. Yes, we need to add a rule. So our rule is going to be now from there to there. There we go. So now this rule here, we can make that a solid line. How does that look? That looks much better, doesn't it? And then we can just fiddle with the chevron, the filler a little bit more. There we go. I think that looks a lot better. There is no way to sort of rotate the lines, the chevron, because normally I'd like this little middle section of these chevrons to be sort of lined up with that and go to the middle over here. But I'll be honest with you, I think that looks pretty good. And that is the part that people are not going to drive on. And that looks okay. I mean, you could even, if you wanted to, because you're trying to keep these two in their own separate lanes, we could just add one more little line on here. So let us have a look. Do we have a line going from here that's invisible? No, we don't. So we're going to pop a line in here that I want to follow that shape. There we go. I'm going to delete the rule so it removes the markings on the road. Yes, there we go. And then we're going to add a new rule and we're going to go from that point to that point. And that is just going to be a dash line. We'll put our paste in. And do you know what? I think that just looks absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to quickly add that to these other junctions as well. And then we'll take a final overview of this roundabout. Oh, something else I haven't mentioned is template. So we've done this filler over here. If I want to just completely copy that, we've got our copy and paste. Well, I've already got my lines sort of in my copy and paste memory, haven't I? But we can make this a template. So if I save as a template, there we go. And we've got our fillers here, our new template. So if we come over to this one, which we're just doing, there we go, and we've just started to do this filler, I can apply a template. And we've got our new template, there we go, and that is now looking exactly like that filler over there. And obviously I've got to add the lines in myself, but yeah, that makes it look really cool. We can change the colors if we wanted to, so we could have that as yellow. Let's have a look. Maybe it would be a bit of a darker yellow. We could do something like that. We could leave it grey. You can have it any colour you like. You could have it red, pink, purple. Let's have it back as default. That's what we're going to have. And you could put the RGB numbers in there if you wanted to as well. And there we go. That is all 4 junctions done. I mean, that took absolutely no time at all. Once I'd got my template down and all that sort of thing. That is absolutely brilliant. I'm really pleased with that. And it just looks fantastic as well, doesn't it? So from a plain old boring junction to having all those lines put on, wow, I tell you what, I am absolutely in love with this mod. Now this is another example where I think we can make use of the intersection marking tool, where we've got a setup like this. Now this is how I've got the roads. I've got coming into the roundabout, there's the one lane which comes off the roundabout and the 2 lanes that go on. So that's like an asymmetrical road which fits in perfectly, as you can see, with the 3 lanes on the roundabout. But then coming down here, we're going into a junction. It's a bit harder to see because of the traffic, but it switches to an asymmetrical road. So we've got 2 lanes there going into the junction because you want one for straight on and one for right. And then we've got 1 lane coming in. But in the middle here, the markings aren't quite right, because as you just saw this little van do, he came up here in this 1 lane, and then he went over the double lines, which you shouldn't do, to go into one of these 2 lanes. So we want to try and do something here. So let's just move that out of the way. I'm going to get the node controller mod first of all. We're going to select this node here where these 2 roads meet. Now there's a load of options here. I'm going to go to the one that I want, which is the custom one. And we can do no road marking. Yeah, there we go. And then we can make this a bit bigger. Ah, that's the one I'm looking for. So now we've got some space to work with to try and get these lines set up correctly. So coming along here, let's just close that one and open this one. So we can now select that node with the intersection marking tool. Fantastic. So this 1 lane coming down here is now going to split into these 2 lanes. So we could have a line going from there to there. We'll paste in. It still remembers our line setup. And a line going from there to there. They can choose which one they want to go into, which is great. And then coming in the other direction, we've got the same. This 1 lane splits into 2. So that goes to there. That can also go to there. We'll paste that in. And already, if we just unpause the game, look at that. They're changing lanes and they're following the lines that we've set up. Now, I would make this one that goes along here. Let's come back out of that view, grab that node. I want this line here to be a double line to match. So that's going to be a double solid. We'll make that a little bit smaller, and I think we've got it. There we go, because we don't want anybody crossing over that line. Now, you can sort of fiddle with these a little bit more if you want to line them up differently, but I've got to be honest, I think that looks fine to me. Look at that. And that is so much better than what we had. Have we got another example of it? No, we haven't. But you get the idea anyway. It really adds that extra touch of realism. I've got to say, I love this mod. I love both of them. And with Traffic Manager as well. Wow. Okay, so another use case for the node controller, and this is something I mentioned in a previous episode, where we've got two roads connecting like this. So we've got the asymmetrical road going into the roundabout, and then we've got a national road. But if you notice in the middle here, the game wants to make the node in the middle here flat. So it sort of produces this little bump. Look, you can see it there. But if we grab the node controller, if you hold Alt, it will give you the option of just selecting one of the pieces of road rather than the node in the middle. So let's select that one there. And if we untick flat junction, there we go. Where the two roads meet, it's now straight from one side to the other instead of with that little dip in the middle. There we go. It's a teeny tiny little dip, but not as bad as it was before. And we could even smooth that out a little bit. There we go. And then we might want to add some road markings in here so this road makes total sense. Now, this is another use case where you can see that we're going to have these two roads. That is going to split into these two lanes, I should say. But it's going over this crossing, which I would like to keep the crossing in there. I should pause the game when there's no traffic so we can see what we're talking about. There we go. So I don't want that line to go over there. So we're going to do that same thing again where I've drawn in the line. There we go. We're going to remove the rule that's in there. Now, in the past, after removing that line, I would add a new rule and I would use some points to say I only want a line from here to here, but it doesn't see this crosswalk as part of the setup. So what we're going to do, let's just delete that line again. We're going to go back to our node controller mod. We want to remove these markings. So we're going to have no junction markings, remove that crosswalk. Back to our intersection marking tool. We want to add a crosswalk in here that the intersection marking tool will recognize, and we have a crosswalk option. So if we hold shift, we can say go from there all the way to the end. There we go. Now we go back to our lines, and this is the line we were working on. Add a rule, and look at that. There is now points either side of the crosswalk. So we can say from there to there, we will paint that in, and that is fantastic. I don't think I painted in... Oh, this one here would actually be a solid line. There we go. You can cross over and get from one side to the other. And then we've got this one here to here is also going to be a solid line. And I think that is pretty much it for that junction. There we go. And I'm even going to make this a little bit more smoother with that. It seems like the little gap here for crossing from one lane to the other just a bit too small. So let's make that a bit bigger. The crossing moves down here. All the lines stay in place. And look at that. That to me looks absolutely brilliant. Now with the crosswalk, let's just pause this while there's no cars on there. Again, you have lots of options. You might want to change that. Let's grab the right tool. So we go to crosswalks. So you can have different styles. Let's have a look. We've got zebra. What else have we got in here? Double zebra, so twice as thick. And you can see it's adjusting the lines for us, which is good. Parallel solid lines. Parallel dash lines. A ladder. And solid cross. We'll just go with the standard zebra crossing. And then you can change the width. We might just have it a little bit wider, which will match in with the way they normally look. Yeah, there we go. And the lines are a little bit thicker as well. So let's just see if we can match this up. There we go. I think that looks good. It doesn't cross over the line there. And all these other lines are lined up. We might just want to mess with these little lines here. Just get them to match up a little bit better. Can we do that? There we go. That's better. Redrew them in. And we haven't got them crossing over the crosswalk there, which is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with that. So that just that little tiny junction, that transition from one road to the other can make all the difference by using those two mods together. Okay, so we've done the roundabout. We've done the junction up here with the two matching asymmetrical roads, or the two meeting asymmetrical roads. We've done the same here with a double lane into an asymmetrical road. Over here, we've got an asymmetrical road being met by a two-lane road. So that is a similar use case as over here. But we've also got the grass at the side. We've got a crossing that looks a bit winky-wonky in the middle. Yeah, I'm sure we can do something about that. So let's grab our node controller first of all. We are going to remove the junction markings from there. Brilliant. We're then going to use our intersection marking tool. And basically, we're going to say, let's have a look here. So as you're coming down here, you can go to there. But you can also go to there. I think we need to make this little meet up. I want this node controller. So I'm going to make this a bit bigger here. So now we can actually see where the lines are going, which is good. Again, I want to make this one here. That one there. I want to make that match this one. You can't really have from sort of double solid to single dash sort of. I don't know quite how we would do that. Maybe we'd have that as a single solid like that rather than a double solid. Yeah, in my mind that makes a bit more sense. So let's do a single solid there, and then they can split and go to the two lanes. That looks good to me. And then all we want to do is add in a crosswalk. I would do the crosswalk here. So if we add in our crosswalk, hold shift, go from there to there. Excellent. Should have done that first because our lines are now crossing over. So what I'm going to do is just redo those two lines. There we go. Doesn't that look much, much better than it was before? And they're all smoothly following the lines. They're using the crosswalk. Absolutely perfect. And then on the other side of the roundabout, opposite this road, we've got exactly the same thing again. Whoop, jumpy game. So I'm just going to do the same thing on this one. And this time I'm going to remember to put in the crosswalk first. So then when we match up our lines, it all works correctly. There we go. There we go. So roundabout markings, two roads that join of different shapes and sizes. We've had 4 different examples here, and I just think that realism that it adds, that is absolutely brilliant. I'm just like now thinking, where else in my city can I do these sort of things? Now, what I would like to see in the mod would be the ability to copy an entire node setup and put it on another node. Because, for instance, this node here is the mirror image of this one. If there's a way of copying that, that would be fantastic. Again, we've got it here. This node here is exactly the same as this one. So we're going from the faster 2-lane road into an asymmetric road, exactly the same, faster 2-lane road into an asymmetric road. If there was a way of copying that over, that would be good. Although now I know how to use these tools, putting this into practice quickly isn't too much of a problem. So the first thing you want to do is no junction markings, and then you go in, you want to make the smoothness of that a little bit bigger. In fact, I'm going to check what the smoothness was on this one. 17. Yep, okay, well that seems fair enough. Let's have a look. 16, 7, I'm going to make it 18. Why not? Let's make it 18. And then first of all, you want to put your crossing in, because we know that adds extra points. So hold shift, click from one side to the other. There we go. I then want to change that sort of crossing to this one. So I'm going to put this crossing here. There we go, as a template. So we're going to save as a template. There we go. Crosswalks. So then when we come back over to this one, select our crosswalk. We can put that as our template. There we go. And now we can put our lines in over here. Then we'll have from there to there, and we'll delete that rule and add a new rule. So we'll go from that point there to that point there, and we'll paste in our dash line, which is working fine. We're going to go from here to here. Then we'll delete the bog standard rule it puts in, add a new rule, and go from there to there, and make that the double solid line. And we'll just shrink that down a tiny touch. Yep, that's fine. This one is going to go from there to there. Then we'll delete that rule, add a new rule, and we've got the point that we need. And we'll go from there to there. That is going to be a solid line. So that can go into there, or that can spread out and go to there. Yeah, that is it, isn't it? Cool. Oh man, I'll tell you what, going around this whole city, fixing up all of our junctions, it's going to be a bit of a job, but I tell you what, it's going to be a fun job. And just that node controller option of corner smoothness can really help with T-junctions like this as well. So if we bring that one out there, it just makes the junction that bit bigger. There we go, and helps people sort of move quicker around the corner. So let's just go back to normal. That is quite a tight. There we go, 90-degree turn. Let's just pop this out, let's say 25. Now look at that smooth arc that they can move around. I think that's going to help people move around a lot quicker. And then, of course, if you want to, you can add a load of road markings in as well. Yeah, it turns out trying to do these lines on asymmetrical roads coming into a T-junction is particularly hard. I tried it I don't know how many times and couldn't get it to look right. In the end, I had these lanes, so 2 lanes each way coming into a T-junction. So you've got a dedicated lane for every single direction that you want to go. And that works out quite well. I like the way that looks. Yeah, very nice, very nice. And then one other example I'd like to try is on our highways. Now let's find a highway. Here we go, a highway road like this. Is this a good example? What happened to our dedicated lane for coming off there? Look, that lane's doing 2 things. How dare you? Let's go like that. There we go. Let's maybe move along. Let's do this one here. Here we go. So we've got this junction here. Yeah, lots of stuff going on. No lines in the middle at all. So the first thing I'm going to do is pause it when the cars are gone, is grab my node controller. And I'm going to definitely make this longer. So you've got more of a runoff. Yeah, don't worry about that fence. That's a fence that I've put in. So you've got more of a longer runoff. Rather than being a sharp turn, zip up there. We can sort of extend that a bit, and it doesn't really take up much more space, does it? Which is fantastic. 36, that'll do. And then we're going to add some lines into here as well. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And you can see the difference. Here we go. Look, 2 junctions side by side. This one nice and long and sweeping with the chevrons and all the lines. We seem to have a line missing up here. And this with no lines at all over there. The difference is absolutely fantastic. Now, there's no lines missing because it splits into 2 lanes up there. So that's cool. Very good, very good. I'll tell you what, it's going to take me ages to go around the city and start marking up all the different things. Maybe I'll do it a little bit at a time, put it into some of my episodes as we go along. But yeah, if the maker of this mod is watching, a way to copy a node, so the way this node is set up there, if I could copy that setup and like paste it into another similar node, like this one's exactly the same, that would be fantastic. But apart from that, I'm really pleased. Those 2 mods, along with Traffic Manager, they really, really make my day, I have to say. Well done to the mod makers, as always, coming up with new and fantastic things. Probably going to be a traffic fix in my next episode of Teaport. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. And I will see you then. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like as well. That's always appreciated. Take care. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.